This is a Dyson Omni-glide. My name's David and this is my review. I absolutely love the Dyson Omni-glide head. It moves in very mysterious ways and it feels quite magical in my opinion. This vacuum head does a really good job of fitting underneath really tight spaces, whether it be like a cabinet or like a table that you might have. This guy's able to get underneath it. As long as it's higher than 3.25 inches, this thing will be able to glide underneath that object and be able to clean underneath that surface very well as being maneuverable underneath it. Another good thing about the Omni-glide is this edging here is exposed, and this allows you to glide the Omni-glide along the wall where you're able to actually kick up a lot of that dust and remove that off the wall, where typically a lot of the robot vacuum cleaners or conventional vacuum cleaners wouldn't typically be able to pick up that dust. Another thing that I really like about this head design is if you're cleaning inside a hall, you're able to make this kind of sweeping motion. Because these rollers are counter-rotating, they're able to push the dirt inside into the vacuum area and then it's able to be sucked up. So it's that kind of mechanical aggregation which allows this vacuum to be so successful in cleaning up dirt and debris. Where you're not relying so much on suction force, you're allowing that mechanical aggregation of the dust to actually enter into the vacuum chamber here, and then that dust is going to be sucked up into the vacuum by the vacuum force. You also have these 4 little caster wheels here which allows the Omni-glide to spin around and rotate so easily. So in terms of head maintenance, you are able to take it apart and then do any kind of cleaning you might have in the motor area here. You can also take these rolls out and then wash them, but just make sure everything's dry after you clean it. That way you make sure you don't short out anything like your motor. Once you've washed these, you can just reinstall them. It's pretty easy. And then you just slide them in like this and you're good to go. You'll notice that these brushes are counter-rotating, where this brush is rotating this way into the vacuum chamber here, and then this brush is rotating this way into the vacuum chamber. That way dirt kind of gets a 1-2 mechanical aggregation punch, where this guy's kicking up dirt initially, and then this one's making sure that it's trapped inside here, and also giving it a second try to push dirt back in. It's also going to be trapped inside of this chamber here, because both of these brushes are going to be doing a good job of trying to keep that dust as much as it can inside of this area here, this vacuum chamber. So in terms of attachment, Dyson does give us this one attachment, and this is going to allow us to do things like dust and brush here. You can also use this guy if you need to get a little bit extra reach. And what you can also do is remove this entirely, and then you're able to clean inside like cracks or crevices, or if you're inside your car and you're trying to clean your car, this is a good tool for that as well. One thing to note about this vacuum cleaner is it is incredibly light. We're talking less than 5 pounds in total, and that allows you to do things like reach overhead and then do some light dusting. There are 2 things that this Omni-glide head does a bad job with, and that is going to be carpet and hair. Hair does a good job of getting tangled in here, and in carpet, it won't be able to actually move and rotate, and you could also risk potentially harming your motors. Another thing I really like about the Omni-glide is you actually use a button to get it started, unlike a lot of the other handheld Dysons which use a trigger. This prevents you from having to use your finger to actually pull the trigger and keep the vacuum running. You can actually just turn this one on, and then you're good to go. The Omni-glide has 2 modes, Eco mode and Max mode, and I'll let you hear both of them now. That's Eco, that's Max. Those of you familiar with Dyson will be familiar with this kind of filter head design that you can kind of unscrew, and then you're able to clean this with water and then reuse it. However, do note that you will need to make sure that this filter is dry, and I would recommend letting it dry for 48 hours before placing it back into the machine. That way you don't do any harm to your motor. I would also like to mention that the battery life on this Dyson model isn't really all that impressive. However, it is nice that you can put another battery in and then be good to go. Like many of the other Dyson vacuums, this one also has the Bagless Design, where the dust and debris goes in this bin here, and we can easily remove that dust by pressing this button here and then releasing it down and then just kind of knocking it out. And once we're ready, we just close it up and we're good to go. The way I see this Omni-glide is it's kind of a weed eater, where it gets into those kind of hard to reach places which your normal vacuum cleaner or your robo vacuum cleaner won't typically be able to reach. So if you're a person that has a lot of hardwood floors and tile, this Omni-glide is a great option to fit into those nooks and crannies that your other vacuum cleaner simply won't reach.